All right. So when you go home today, you're going to get a packet that looks like this. And the first part of the packet is a letter to mom and dad, which I will read to you guys in a couple of minutes, all right? The letter is on the front page and on the back, and it's all about the Saint Project that we're going to do and the special Mass that we are going to celebrate in November with Bishop Noonan. All right, the next page is a rubric, okay? And the rubric has to do with how neat you do your project, as well as how well you present your information to the class, okay? This and the letter stay home in a safe place so mom and dad can refer back to it as they need it. And they have this out while you are practicing. Once you finish your project, then you have to start practicing your presentation. So you should have this out while you're practicing, okay? So that's the mom and dad part of the packet. The second part of the packet, I tell mom and dad in the letter that I have provided a sample of what your finished project should look like, okay? On your cover page up here, you're going to print your saint's name. And in this speech bubble, you are going to tell me what your saint is patron of. Who does he watch over? Who does he protect? Okay? And then you're going to tell me when your saint that you are researching's feast day is. And in this case, his feast day is on September 1st. All right, he was born in Ireland and lived in Ireland. So you are going to, not everybody's saint is going to be from Ireland. When you research, you're going to find out where your saint lived, okay? And then you are going to put a little dot on the map where your saint lived, okay? And very neatly, like I did with a little arrow, you can put the name of the country or the town or the city where your saint lived, all right? So that's gonna be your cover letter. Not your cover letter, your cover page of your report. Then your actual report page will be filled out as well. You're going to put your symbol for number, your first name, and your last name. I already put the date. This is due October 26th. Again, you're going to write in your neatest handwriting your saint's name, what your saint is patron saint of, when their feast day is celebrated. You're going to tell me the year they were born and the place they were born in. My saint was born, there wasn't a specific date of birth, but they said that he was born in the year of our Lord 600 in Ireland. However, they were able to, my research was able to show that he died, and I would have a point taken off because look here, it says died, date, and place. And I only wrote the date. Okay, but I do remember from my research that he died on August 18th, 670. And again, he died in Ireland, but I forgot to put that on. So I would have a point taken off if I was checking this. Okay, then you need to tell me why you think your saint is a saint. And this is a sentence stem like we've worked on in writing. My saint is a saint because many miracles happened after his death. Praying in his chapel and working in his garden earned him everlasting life. Oh, we talked about that in today's gospel, in heaven with God. Okay, so that's why I believe that my saint is a saint. We're not finished yet because on the back, you need to give me 3 interesting facts about your saint. And 3 interesting facts that I found about my saint was he spent most of his life as a hermit. That means he lived pretty much all by himself. He didn't interact with people. In the woods of Normandy, France, where he was given land to build a hermitage. He became known for his ability to heal bodily and spiritual ailments, okay? So if people were very, very sick physically, he was able to help them. Or if they were having some spiritual problems, not being able to connect with God the way they wanted to, he was able to help those people as well. And then the third interesting fact about my saint was that he built a hospice for traveling pilgrims that grew into a really big village that was named for him. Okay, and that's my completed report. Now, the thing of it is once I've done all of my written work, then I have to sit and practice every night with mom and dad, because I have to, in the classroom, tell all of my friends the information that I learned about my saint, which would be all of the things on your sheet, okay? As well as when Bishop comes to celebrate with us on November 2nd, he will call he's going to ask the whole class to come to the front of the church, and he's going to ask you to tell him what saint you researched and what your saint is patron of. In other words, patron means who are the people that that particular saint watches over, or that particular occupation prays to. All right. Now, so that's the sample. So everybody knows what it should look like. Then the last thing in the packet is your actual report pages that you are going to work on. Okay. There's your cover sheet. There's the first page of your saint project. There's the second page. Now, again, remember from my rubric, neatness is one of the things Mrs. Moran looks at. How your spelling, your printing, okay, everything, your coloring, when you color in your map, your picture, which your picture can be hand drawn, or it can be like mine. I found a prayer card and made a copy of it and glued it on there. However you want to do that. Here's the other thing. On the day of November 2nd, when the bishop comes to celebrate Mass with us, you are going to come dressed in a costume, okay? And this is where it gets tricky, because not boys and girls, sometimes some parents don't listen carefully to what Mrs. Moran says, okay? You are not coming dressed as the saint. You are coming dressed as the occupation that that saint is patron of. For example, my saint is the patron saint of cab drivers. So what would I come dressed as? What would I come dressed as? If my saint is the patron saint of cab drivers, he watches over cab drivers, then what would I come dressed as? Yes, Sophia. That's right, as a person who drives cabs or a cab driver. And if you look carefully, if I can get it out, at my picture here, you will see these boys and girls are in the 3rd grade now. None of them came dressed as a saint. They all came dressed as the occupation for which their saint is patron. So we have a nurse, we have a gardener, okay? We have a florist, we have a midwife, we have an airplane pilot. I believe that my friend McLaren was a funeral director. MJ was a beekeeper, all right? So we have all different kinds of occupations. This little guy back here was patron saint of priests, all right? So you are not coming dressed as the saint. You are coming dressed as the occupation for what your saint is patron of, or the group of people that your saint watches over. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Okay, now what's going to happen in a couple of minutes is I'm going to put some saints' names into a bag. And you are going to draw your saint. That's how you're going to know which saint you are going to research and which occupation you are going to come dressed as, because it's not only going to give you the saint's name, it's going to give you the occupation for which the saint is patron, okay? And then after we do that, on this parent packet, Mrs. Moran will tape your saint's name and the occupation for which your saint is patron. She will tape it right up there, so you will have it to take home with you. All right, are there questions? Yes, sir. You need to hold this down so I can hear. If you draw that one, then you can, but I don't know what you're gonna draw, okay? I cannot hear you. Not unless you choose the name of the saint that is the patron saint of angels. I don't think there is a patron saint of angels, but we'll see. Again, it depends upon what you draw out of the bag, whose name you draw out of the bag. Yes, ma'am. You need to pull this down so I can hear you. What do you mean, can you research by phone?
About the saint, 'cause I don't know. Like,
In the back, hold on a minute. In the back of the parent letter, that's a good question. In the back of the parent letter, I give your parents all the places where you can go and find information about the different saints, okay? So there's places on the internet that you can go to find information about your particular saint. All right? Okay, now, while let me stop the recording.